All right, welcome
The
back
other
to
button.
Just Giants with Grump and the Cranky Fan, the best damn podcast for the best damn football team. I am your host, the Football Grump, and with me, as always, is Mike, the Cranky Fan. What's going on?
The best damn football team, the 1-0 undefeated NFC East leading, and the
Say it with your chest. Come on.
yeah, let's get excited.
Yeah, I am excited. New season, things are looking good. But for those of you who are new, just by the way, you can follow us on Twitter at football_grump at the Cranky Fan. But this show is on YouTube, Spotify, all the usual platforms. You can find us there. So please tell a friend and yeah, whatever. Um,
Whatever.
welcome,
Or don't
welcome
listen.
to
Who cares?
yeah. But whatever. Welcome to a new season. A good season. We started off 1-0. Whether it was perfect or not, it's good to, I don't know, be in this spot because we have never been in this spot where we
Grump,
could just start the year like this.
Grump, this isn't college football where there's polls and styles as much as substance. Winning is all that matters. So we're 1-0 and you move on to week 2. That's all that really matters.
Yeah.
If you're looking at this season, trying to make the playoffs and stuff, you should be more than happy about that. I think implementing a new culture on this team, implementing a new system offensively and defensively, getting young guys playing, that's the things I'm excited about. So good start to the new regime.
Yeah, really, that's it. The long view here is that this is going to be a long season. So, the long season, it continues right in with the injury report, right? So a little bit of good news and then some weird news. So I guess, well, actually, I don't know. Let's start with this. Kayvon Thibodeau, because this will be a quick one. Some people are saying he might be like a game time decision, or I guess like that idea is being floated out there. How do you feel about the fifth overall pick being a game time decision in his first NFL action? Do you feel like that's already just sit him?
I sit him.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's how I
first of
feel
all,
too.
This season after this week, there's 15 more games. This is his rookie year. He's going to be a cornerstone of this franchise. I don't see any value in bringing him back if he's not, if not 100%, 95%. You don't want him to favor anything. You don't want, potential bad habits. You don't want him to get hurt. If he tweaks something again and he's, again, it becomes week to week or something worse happens and he's has to go in IR, is out for the season, you just wasted a year to rush him back for no reason. So again, everything is time and place and circumstance. If this team is a legitimate playoff team and, we need him to make the playoffs, different story. We're at the beginning of his career, I wouldn't bring him back until he's just about fully ready.
Yeah, and I know some people have the attitude of not babying guys into injury, but this isn't a soft tissue injury like cramping or hamstring tenderness or anything like that. He literally got hit in the knee. It's an MCL sprain. I've seen all I need to see. That is, if he's not good by Thursday, I don't want to play him. I don't see the point. So yeah, it just seems silly.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so bigger news, I guess, is Kadarius Toney mysteriously shows up on the injury report today, Thursday, with a hamstring. I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts or opinions on this. Do you?
Well, Conspiracy Crank says it's pretty interesting how the guy only gets 5 or 6 snaps or 7 snaps, all of a sudden has a hamstring injury. I don't know. I would love to be a fly in the wall in that wide receiver room, but I have a feeling that I made an investment in a jersey last year that next year will be put away and never to be seen again. I just don't see him being long for this team. There's just too many things that are pointing that he's not their guy. And I don't know if it's the same reasons like Logan Ryan is gone and Blake Martinez is gone. I don't know what it is, but if they're saying last week he wasn't hurt and they can't get a couple of basic plays to get him on the field as being such a weapon that he is, now all of a sudden A hamstring injury comes out of nowhere. Something doesn't smell right. And for once, it's not just me that doesn't smell. I don't
Oh,
know.
nice. I echo all those. I get that. But I guess I'm just not gonna feel anyway. Like he was limited in practice today. I guess I'm not really gonna feel away until he's not on the field or not able to play or doesn't dress because of an injury. I guess. So you know what I mean. Like I get it. I get what you're saying. But like he was limited today. It's all right. I don't know. Maybe he does have a hamstring injury, but until that's directly impacting his game, then game time availability, I'm not really gonna care.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like too many things are happening that are pointing towards a bad conclusion to this. His stay with the Giants.
No, no, I totally agree. But
And it's
like again,
and it's
like if
frustrating.
the thing is, so the reason I say that is because if he does play Sunday and he does like catch 5 balls for 74 yards, do we even remember that he was limited on Thursday with a hamstring thing?
Well, yeah, then everything changes because I
That
think
that's yeah that's
I
that's why until it impacts Sunday, I'm not
well because
really.
I don't know. Tim, this is me again, conspiracy crank talking. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. I think that's a smokescreen for something else. Why they're I don't know if they can keep saying every week, well, he doesn't know the playbook yet, or he hasn't practiced enough yet. I just think at some point, again, I might be completely crazy, and that might be just my,
No, I
you
don't
know,
think that's crazy.
my bias towards Kadarius Toney and where we came from. But I don't know. I mean, how often can you keep saying, it's just out of nowhere an injury pops up.
No, I mean I don't think it's nuts to be like, oh, we'll just say he has a hamstring injury. We'll keep him at practice. He'll be limited. We need him to get, I don't
Hmm.
know, say the playbook. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever reason he's not on the field, get it sorted out behind the scenes or at practice or whatever it is, and then just say he's coming along good, and then when it's time, unleash him, and
Right.
in the meantime, the only media frenzy you have to deal with is like, whatever. What do you want me to say? He's hurt. That is a perfectly valid reason to answer why how far along is Toney or whatever. Or we're just going to listen to the doctors is another line
And,
you can just pull out of your ass, and
and
it's
I guess
acceptable.
you can't get in trouble for saying, well, he's hurt when he's really not, and then he actually doesn't play.
Yeah,
You can't lie on the injury report and then like the opposite happening in a game situation. Like
right.
you can't hide the fact that someone's hurt and all of a sudden he doesn't play, or you can't say he's injured when he's really fine. I mean, you have to kind of, you know, if they say he's quote unquote injured and he doesn't play, that's completely legal and valid.
Yeah. Um. I mean, I
It sucks.
guess
It sucks. I mean, with no Wandell Robinson, they need that guy in that position for this offense because, I'm going to talk about it when we get to the preview of the game that, there's film on this team now. And what worked last week probably won't work again this week. And they need some sort of passing game threat. And, your two best threats to make a play probably aren't going to be on the field next week. So,
well, maybe again that now see that is jumping ahead. He was limited on practice on Thursday. He's probably not going to be on the field. I have no idea if he's going to be on the field.
I'm just saying that he needs to be on the field because
Sure.
I
Yeah.
didn't say he wasn't. I was just saying for
Yeah.
an
Well,
offense.
no, no, no. I
Needs
know.
to,
Yeah. So we'll get to the other really big injury that's worrying me in a second. But since you brought up Wandale Robinson, weird, right? Like, didn't they say after the game that injury was like not really a big deal, was coach's decision? He just kind of felt funny when he got tackled, and they just decided to put him on the side. X-ray was negative, MRI is fine. Dude still hasn't practiced.
Yeah, I don't
So you're
remember
telling me
hearing
he
that.
could have just went back into the game?
I don't remember hearing that after I thought he was out and he's going to be out for a couple of weeks.
All right, cool. Then
Yeah.
to ignore what I said.
All right. It
Um,
happens.
Then the other one that really does bother me is Aaron Robinson apparently got appendicitis and had to have his appendix removed.
You ever have that, Grump?
No.
It's awful.
I know a friend actually that he had a he had to convince his mother that he was really sick because he had a fever of like 103, and it was like his appendix was bursting.
I had
or
to miss
something.
my junior year in high school baseball because of appendicitis. It was awful. Yeah, it's bad.
So your appendix is gone?
No appendix.
Ah, freak.
They took my tail off and they took my appendix out.
Yeah, so that sucks. He is definitely out. I don't even know how long of an injury something like that is. Is surgery, you know?
Couple of weeks, I would think. I mean, now again, this was 30 plus years ago when I had my surgery. The scar is a lot smaller now than it used to be, and I'm kind of a big puss, and these guys are professional athletes, so I think the recovery time is not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah. I don't know. I would assume that it's going to be for more than this game, though, and that sucks.
I
That
would
sucks
think so.
really bad.
Yes.
So now what happens? I mean, do we even know who the next? We have to assume it's Cordell Flott, right?
Uh, I'd imagine so. I mean, what's his name who they picked up late off the waiver wire? Is he
Yeah.
ready to play?
No, I mean, so Fabian Moreau, who they
Yeah.
picked up on the waiver wire, he's on the practice squad. I envision him being elevated. I could see him being able to play in some capacity. And I think it was, I don't remember if it was Duggan or Jordan Renan, but one of the beat writers was saying that, like, in Wink's defense, the outside corner position is not altogether one of the hardest ones to learn because a lot of it is just straight up man coverage. So it's just pretty much just guard this guy,
The question is,
So,
how good is he? I mean, is it really?
I mean, I already thought that it wouldn't be outlandish if they worked him in eventually on the outside and worked Aaron Robinson back to the slot at some point during the year. So he's about average. He's okay. He might be good enough to make the defense function better, if that makes sense. That's something. The other thing is Nick McLeod, the guy they picked up, who is primarily being used on special teams as like a gunner. He's not altogether terrible in man cover. I saw a couple things. I don't know. I certainly don't expect them to do that. But a going forward option, I'm not really sure that it won't be seen. I don't know. I saw some things. He looked pretty good at jamming wide receivers at the line of scrimmage and, staying pace with them. So I don't know, maybe. But either way, all of these things infinitely worse than just having Aaron Robinson healthy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so Carolina Panthers. Let's talk a little bit about them. They Baker Mayfield faced his Cleveland Browns last week.
It was a weird
did you
week.
watch? Did you watch that game?
I did not. I was coming back from Gainesville, and I was only just able to catch our game.
The tail end of it there, Carolina got pretty hosed by the officiating there. There's some wonkiness there with kind of a weird roughing the passer call that allowed Cleveland some extra 15 yards, and then there was a fake spike of the ball at the very end there to stop the clock or something, which is technically a penalty or something. I don't know. It was very, very shenanigans heavy at the very end for a game-winning field goal. I gotta feel pretty bad for Carolina Panther fans, but I don't actually at all.
Not at all. Yeah,
No.
screw them.
I don't know, which side of the ball do you want to talk about first? Offense, defense? How you feeling?
Let's talk about the offense. I mean, that's kind of the big story from last week, and rolling over to this week. Go ahead, you give your thoughts first, and I'll
All right, so I'm not too worried about Carolina's defense. They're very ho hum, or at least they looked very ho hum last week. I know not to take everything from week 1 in a 3 preseason game season as gospel or anything like that, but they just defensively, schematically, they don't do anything too crazy that worries me. Very much just rush 4 guys, maybe a 5th guy. It's all very obvious, nothing too chaotic, which the Giants have been practicing against for a while. Cleveland was able to run the ball all the fuck over them. I think they had 200 rushing yards on them or something in that game. And they hit those edges, which is kind of what Barkley was doing really well and the Giants were doing well last week, even with Matt Breida. So, I feel kind of okay about the offense. Additionally, the corners they have, J.C. Horn is somebody I really like, but is still very grabby. And I think we can get some matchups there where we're just getting penalties if we can just get him in one-on-ones with the right guys. Like if Kadarius Toney plays would be a great one because I don't even know if he'll touch Kadarius Toney. Mm-hmm. But I will say the two things on offense that are going to concern me for a while. And it's Daniel Jones doing something stupid like the interception that he threw in the red zone last week. And the left guard spot. It's going to concern me until it doesn't concern me. I see no reason not to believe that some stunts and things on the left side are going to trip up the left guard, maybe screw up Andrew Thomas even at the same time. Brian Burns is a really good defensive end that they have there. They have some good defensive tackles on that roster as well. That makes me nervous. And Daniel Jones being pressured, especially from the blind side, and in like 2 seconds, is the fastest way to make him do something stupid. So on offense, I actually feel good if that left guard spot is handled. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, see, here's my take on this. It's that I feel everything was new last week for the Giants. New coaching staff, a semi-rebuilt offensive line. The unknown about is Saquon Barkley back or not. I think they kind of caught the Titans a little bit off guard, I think. And I think now that, they always say from the first week to the second week, you have your best improvement when you get to watch the film. But unfortunately, now there's some film on the Giants. And I think seeing, how, and I moaned about this on Monday's show about, a passing offense that was built specifically for Daniel Jones not to make mistakes and to take pressure off that left side of the line, which the pass blocking was awful on that side. I expect now that they know that Saquon is a force again and the run blocking was really good, they're going to be keying up on that and they're going to force us to have some sort of a passing game. It's not going to be just little checkdowns and 4-yard, little passes behind the line of scrimmage and stuff like that. Daniel Jones is going to have to make a play. These receivers are going to have to get open. They're going to have to, keep the safeties and keep the linebackers honest because teams are just going to, starting this week, are going to load the box and they're just going to load up on the run and almost beg us to throw the ball and not just throw the ball a little dink and dunk, throw the ball 10, 15, 20 yards downfield. And again, I just don't think this team is good enough to consistently be able to do that on a dime. I mean, it's still part of the growing process of first the personnel we have now, and then ultimately as we get better talent on this offense. So I have, I know what happened last week, and I'm not overreacting to anything I saw, but even with us or with Carolina, but I have some major concerns that I don't know if we're up to the task for adjustments that are made against us schematically.
No, I actually totally understand that. The one thing that I didn't mention that also I was thinking about is I think the running game was working so well last week that they didn't really open the playbook all that much. And I don't mean that from the passing standpoint. I think the passing game worked poorly last week, partially because it's a poor roster or, they were playing poorly. But I mean, even from the running side, I think they didn't really dig too deep into the playbook on their running playbook. Like I don't remember really any like zone read Daniel Jones.
But
there were like two bootlegs, but like stuff like that has not even been unleashed yet. And so if people are going to key in on Saquon Barkley, that is a really good way to keep people honest.
But remember, nothing really happened until the second half started. I mean, how many plays?
No, I understand that. But I mean,
in the first half, we only ran 20-something plays. I mean, there was no offense, passing or really rushing in the first half. It really started with that big run, which kind of opened up things and then, able to kind of to pound a little more. But
No, I
I see
know,
your
but
point.
I mean, like as far as defensive schematic adjustments to Barkley, I mean that's one thing I noticed is that we didn't really run any of that last
Hmm.
week. So that's actually a really good way to counter if they are going to
Hmm.
try and load the box up on
Well,
him.
that's
At
going to
least
be
I would think.
that's going to be the cat and mouse game, and that's where we're going to put this coaching staff to the test. There's limited talent. How are we going to adjust to the adjustments that are made against us? How are we going to, how good at chess players are these guys when they're playing with checkers? So that's going to be the most interesting thing to me to see. This roster will flip over the next couple of years, and you're going to see an upgrade, hopefully, in talent with better drafting, better use of the salary cap, all these things. But this coaching staff is going to be here, and hopefully, if we lose coaching staffs, it's because we've done well enough that they get promotions to other places, and not they're getting fired for being incompetent. So let's see how these guys start gelling together and how do they think things schematically? How do they make in-game adjustments? How do they make personnel adjustments as necessary? That starts now. And that is something if you're, a real fan of this team and in it for the long haul that we could really take, seeing Saquon Barkley have a great game yesterday is great. We're all excited, it makes us happy, but there's a very, very good chance he's not part of the long-term future of this team. Daniel Jones throwing that bomb makes us all like, oh, he can throw it, but we all know he's probably not part of the long-term part of this team. Ryan Dable, Wink Martindale, they are, until otherwise proven, are long-term pieces of this team. So let's see what they can do.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of Wink Martindale, I don't know how to feel. I'm like tepid about this defensively. Um, it certainly sucks not having Aaron Robinson, but on the flip side, I don't know if you said you didn't watch any of that Panthers game. They
Mm.
looked like shit on offense. Ben McAdoo's offense. Baker looked all kinds of out of sync. I mean, I think he dropped 4 snaps in that game.
Yeah.
Um, he just even on the plays that worked or even worked as designed, he just didn't look comfortable. He looked unnatural. Like,
How much did he play in the preseason, and how much do you
yeah,
know?
I have no idea.
I
No.
mean, the first games are, you know, they're rusty. Everybody's
Yeah,
like
but
kind of
this
like
didn't.
shit.
It really. It looked like. Like I said, like even the plays that worked, it didn't look like everything just clicked and it was like it looked perfect. It still looked unnatural. He looked
Hmm.
like it didn't even look like an offense built for him. It's very that Ben McAdoo thing. Everything is really quick paced and
Right.
fast out of the hand. He doesn't do a whole lot of movement. I mean, not really. Um, so he looked like shit, and I think like 7 or 8 of his passes got batted down. It was insane. Uh,
Hmm.
but I think about what Baker Mayfield is, and I think about what Wink Martindale is, and Wink Martindale is going to blitz the shit out of him. And I'm a little nervous about that because, like, I don't know. Like on the one hand, it seems like getting him out on the edge and allowing him to improvise, it almost plays into his like, comfort zone of just
Hmm.
kind of letting things break down. And it actually, I would think, would expose our secondary.
Well, it's scary
Um,
when you don't have your two best pass rushers. You have to,
and you
you
don't even
have,
have like your second best corner, who's even
yeah, you,
he's
you
not
have to
that good.
manufacture a pass rush, and yeah, it could be very susceptible to the big play at the wrong time when you're doing that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, they really did look like shit, and like I said, he looks unnatural. So when the play breaks down, he may not even know what to do or which
Mhm.
direction to look, or So I don't know. This could be like a boomer bust game,
Mhm.
blitzing the shit at him. Yeah, that's all I really got. I'm just really excited. I'm excited to go to this game. We will
Prediction.
be there,
Oh.
1 o'clock. So my prediction is we'll be drunk. We'll be pretty excited. We'll have eaten some nice lunch,
Mm.
uh, and then there will be a lot of yelling. That's my prediction. The score, um, shit. It's really difficult. It's really difficult. I'm gonna assume that Thibodeau is not playing this game. I'm
Mhm.
gonna assume that Ojolari is not playing this game. Uh, I think this game is a cruddy, low scoring affair, and I think it ends something like 20-17. And I'm going to say Giants are going to win this one. I don't.
Nice.
I'm going to lean on Baker is still not comfortable in a brand new offense, and the added pressure from blitzers coming at him, hell or high water in every direction, is going to make him screw up more than it is going to make him do well. And that will work to the Giants' favor in a turnover or two, and that will help out an offense that otherwise sucks. What's your prediction?
Well, I predict I will be getting into Newark Airport about 8:30 Sunday morning from my trip to Notre Dame. I predict that I'll be meeting the football grump at Secaucus Air train station. I predict we will be at L17 with the tailgate with our good friends getting ready. I predict we will then go into the stadium. These are things I can very confidently predict. For reasons I mentioned earlier, I am just very concerned that I don't know if we can adjust on the fly to what defensive scheme they're going to throw at us. Like I said, I really think they're going to just completely crowd the box. They are going to make Daniel Jones beat us. And this is not a knock on just Daniel Jones. This is a knock on that whole passing offense. The receivers that will be available will not be available. The fact that, on the left side, we're very worried about. And also, even Evan Neal still has to improve on his pass blocking on the right side as well. I predict that Kadarius Toney is not going to play. I'm a pessimist. I hope he does. I hope this is all bullshit, but I just have a feeling he's not going to play. So one less weapon that we won't have. We're just not good enough yet to be consistent. And if we are in this game and it's the third quarter and Barkley has 11 carries for 29 yards, this could be ugly. I mean, again, I'm not as concerned about, McCaffrey running wild against us. I'm not concerned about, the quarterback, just airmailing passes and just killing us through the air. I just see us being challenged to get down the field in a 12-play drive or have the big play where we score like we did last week. I really want to say we're going to go be 2-0 going into the Dallas game. I don't want to think about the Dallas game. I think, unfortunately, we're going to lose a low-scoring, ugly game, something to the effect of like 17-6. I don't know if we're going to score a touchdown in this game.
Ouch.
Yeah, I just have that feeling that, things like field position are going to play a big part in this game. And if we're starting every drive on the 20 or even worse, and we have to go 75, 80 yards every drive, I just don't see it happening. So I hope I'm wrong, but just the gut I have.
Yeah, put the gun away, Cobain. Jesus. All right, let's take that good energy and bring it around the division. Minnesota is playing at Philadelphia this week. I'm going Minnesota this one. Philadelphia actually struggled with the Lions there, and they looked like garbage trash. So I'm gonna. Minnesota, on the other hand, was putting up points like crazy. I know you have a Kirk Cousins hatred though.
Once an NFC East rival, always an NFC East rival. That game's in Philly, right?
Yes, sir.
It's one of the two Monday night games, right?
Yes, sir.
Philly will win. I don't trust Kirk Cousins going on the road, hostile environment this early. That Philly defense, I think, will tighten up. Bradbury had a pick six last week. I think they will win by 10 points.
Can we just agree that Jared Goff sucks?
I think it's safe to say.
Okay, I called that. Washington is at Detroit, since we're talking about Jared Goff. Detroit does do some things that I think are pretty good. They certainly play at 100 miles an hour for Campbell. I'll say that much. But they're going to suck as long as Jared Goff is there. I'm saying Washington wins.
Well, I don't think they're going to. I mean, I think they're going to be average with him. I think this team is better than it's been in a while. They're kind of a hip pick by a lot of people to make the playoffs. I think they may be sniffing the wild card when we get towards the end of the season. I don't think Goff is one of those guys that gives you a super low floor, but I think his ceiling is pretty limited to what he can do. But I think it's more than enough against this Washington team. I think they win by about, I'll say by 2 touchdowns.
Wait, you think Detroit wins by 2 touchdowns?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Washington's bad. Really
no,
bad.
I mean, I don't doubt it. I don't know. I don't really believe that Detroit team, especially not at home. It felt like a lot of their momentum in that game was being at home.
Yeah, but this is not a prove it week to me. This is not a.
Oh, wait, they are at home. Wait a minute. I had this backwards. I'm going to go Detroit on this one. I am flipping. I thought they were playing in Washington.
That's fine. It doesn't matter where they're playing. I still think Washington's very bad. They're a mess. And like I said, again, with Goff, he's not a guy who's going to singularly win you a game, but I don't think he's going to singularly lose you a game either. So, and against Washington, I think it's enough. They win by 2 touchdowns.
Cincinnati is at Dallas. This is the Cooper Rush-led Dallas Cowboys. I didn't watch any of Cincinnati's game. Did you?
Caught the tail end of it.
I thought Burrow had like a shitty start. Didn't he like throw a pick six almost like immediately?
Yeah, for not a Burrow-esque performance. No.
I'm still going Cincinnati here.
I think so too. And also, like Dallas's home record in the last several years is not that great to begin with. Right? They seem kind of beatable at home. And again, without Dak, that changes everything. And yeah.
Over under on Mike McCarthy being out and Dan Quinn. Did we talk about this on the show?
We talked about it offline.
Dan Quinn or Kellen Moore?
I think that Dak being out gives McCarthy a bit of a stay of execution for a while.
Oh, man. Do you think a whole year?
Well, he's not going to be gone a whole year. I mean, Fox News had that special breaking report that he'll be back in probably 6 weeks. So, it blew up Twitter. It was Jack Dorsey had to invest more money into Twitter to make sure it could still run with that, huge announcement. But no, he'll be gone probably about 6 to 8 weeks. So I think that keeps McCarthy. That gives him a stay for that amount of time. But
I love it. Keep it coming.
Yeah,
Injure Zeke next. As soon as Dak comes back, let Zeke get hurt, and then give him another whole year.
Sure.
Another year of Mike McCarthy's Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, I love it.
We all know that whoever, even if they do smoke him, if Kellen Moore or Dan Quinn become the interim coach, they're going to be throwing, a boatload of money at Sean Payton to take over next year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just wonder, do you think Sean Payton is the kind of guy that would want to work for Jerry Jones?
Well, Bill Parcells did.
But for a very short time.
Jimmy Johnson did.
But wasn't Parcells only there for like 2 years and he left because he hated it? Didn't he quit?
Yeah, but I mean, he went there full well knowing what happened with him and Jimmy Johnson. It wasn't like a secret.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's Jimmy Johnson, but it is also the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it's the marquee team in this league. Money is no object for a guy like Jerry Jones. He'll pay whatever it takes. It's just up to Sean if he wants to get back into coaching and he wants to, And remember also, he was a longtime Dallas. He's with Dallas for a while, right? Like as an assistant coach and stuff. He's got ties.
He was our assistant coach.
Yeah, but he's with Dallas too for a bit.
I'll take your word for it.
I believe so.
I don't know. Yeah, I believe you.
Again, I think that's what, they're going to be. That's their number one target. But if he doesn't, I think it opens up for Kellen Moore. I think more than Dan Quinn.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
That's it for NFL stuff. You want to flip to college weekend? What are you doing Saturday? What are you doing?
Yeah, I got a fun one this weekend. The wife went to Cal, and they are playing at Notre Dame this weekend. So, Florida is not playing at Notre Dame till 2031, and by then I will be very old. So an opportunity to go to South Bend I can't pass up. So I am foregoing going to the the Florida USF game. I'll put that down as a win in Penn. But going to Notre Dame should be a lot of fun. Notre Dame's 0-2. It'd be pretty funny if Cal beat them. I'm not counting on it, but another reason is I want to see a couple potential prospects that, the Giants may be considering in the draft this year. There's three guys of kind of interest. Two of them I'm going to spotlight here really quickly because they are positions of need. First one, tight end Michael Mayer, 6'4", 265 pounds. He was a 5-star recruit, #1 tight end coming out of high school 3 years ago. Great size. He's nicknamed Baby Grunk.
Is he? I think he's the second one to be called that. I think
basically everybody's called Baby Gronk the third, the fourth, the fifth.
Yeah, so. Dude, he's awesome. He's like your traditional tight end.
Right. I mean, he's a guy. Think of Jeremy Shockey without the Miami attitude. So, tight end is a definite need on this team, I think. So, and he's projected to be middle to late first round pick. So. And Notre Dame does a very good job of grooming tight ends and incorporating into their offense. So I'll definitely be watching him, to see how he does against a Cal defense that has 11 guys on the field. We'll leave it at that.
Cal has a safety that I kind of like. Daniel Scott, not so bad. Just somebody to keep in mind while you're watching. He's on my watch list. He's somebody that I'm looking out for because people talk about him. So I took a quick look at him. I saw enough to put him on the list. So I don't have anything crazy with him. I think he's actually an all Pac-12, like a preseason all Pac-12 player.
Okay.
So somebody worth watching while you're watching.
The other guy I think we should focus on for Notre Dame is their center, Jared Patterson, 6'5", 305, a 4-star coming out of high school. Very strong lower body, excellent drive out of his legs, changes direction very quickly. Also can play guard too. So if we're looking for guys that, can be cross-trained, especially with the injury problems this team always seems to have, that could solve two birds with one stone. And again, he's projected also to be kind of a late first-round pick as well. So,
that's big because we badly. John Feliciano has done a pretty good job so far.
But he's not a future guy, right?
No, he's not a future guy, and he's also not doing great. He's doing a scrappy, good job. So, center is definitely something. And, this fucking team, they should be drafting an offensive lineman in the top 3 rounds every year for the next 5 years, just in case.
Exactly. They have a defensive end, Isaiah Foxley, that you may want to watch also. I didn't do a real spotlight on him because I don't see defensive end as a real need for the Giants, but someone just to kind of keep your eye on as you're watching the game too is another talented guy. So I know everybody here in Just Giants land is really gonna be rooting for the school of the wife of one of the hosts as you're rooting for Cal, but if that's not what's going to drag you to watch this game, then, some of these guys may be a little bit of interest. I think it's a 3:30 game Eastern time, which means it'll be over before the Florida game at 7. So something to check out during the day.
I'm going to be watching Penn State Auburn.
Yeah, might be a better game.
Auburn has a couple of guys, but mainly I'm just interested in watching Tank Bigsby. I think watching running backs, especially college running backs, is just fun. Look at our running back core right now. Start from the bottom up. Is Gary Brightwell a long-term piece? Antonio Williams,
Saquon Barkley,
Matt Breida. Any of these people could not be. None of them are guaranteed anything here next year. So, running backs galore. I'm gonna watch running backs wherever I can. Really, it's just cool to see Penn State is playing up against an SEC team. So it's a good chance to watch guys for Penn State. Really like Joey Porter, the cornerback that Penn State has. He's really scrappy. I could see him maybe making some noise in a Wink Martindale defense, maybe in some respects. There's a safety there that people talk about, Jair Brown. I'm going to be watching for him because I don't know a whole lot about him. I just watched a quick highlight thing, and he looked pretty sick. So
The
that's
thing
where
about
I'm going to be focusing on.
yeah, the thing about Auburn is they're been a team for the last several years where the parts are greater than the sum. Like there's talent, but they've had some pretty bad coaching. They've had chaos with their athletic director. They're a mess of a program. But they still, because they're in Auburn, they have an alumni group that spends a lot of money. They've been active in NIL. They get talent. It just hasn't come together for them yet. So they're a team that they may be Auburn, but if they were on the schedule, I'd be worried to play them, especially on the plains. So that'd be a good game to watch, also, definitely.
Yeah, and I know you're not really going to be focusing on Isaiah Foskey for Notre Dame because edge is not really a major concern for this team after drafting Tibbs and having Ojolari, whatever. With Joey Porter and Jair Brown, I think just with Wink Martindale's defense, there's always look at defensive backs. I think even if they're not going to be shut down, lockdown man corners to play on the outside, they're going to need to I think they're just going to load up on defensive backs. So anybody with big hitting ability, blitzing ability, anybody with a high intellect, that whatever things like that, they're all traits worth watching, I think. So yeah, that's going to be our weekend, huh? So Saturday we'll be watching college football. Sunday we'll be very, very early in the morning meeting up and getting trashed in a parking lot like
Where are we going to be again?
professional adults.
L17.
L17, I think, or 16.
We'll be with the boys from Talking Giants. We'll have all of our friends there. So come on by and say hello and tell us how stupid we are, or if you agree with us or anything, or you know just say
Or
hi.
just hang out and
Just hang
clink
out.
beer.
Yeah.
Smash
Listen to
beer.
a great playlist that Snacks always provides. Looking forward to that.
Yep. Yep. All right. All right. So we will see you all there. And then after that, we will have an episode at our typical time, Tuesday morning at 9:30 on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, etc. So we will see you all then. Go Giants.
Go Giants.